The central square of Santa Cruz was illuminated by torches on that holy Saturday night, 15 years ago. A crowd gathered in a circle, their faces lit by the orange glow of flames. In the center of the square, hanging from a rope tied to the keel, branch of a centennial tree, swayed a cloth and straw doll, the effigy of Judas Iscariot, the biblical traitor. Men with faces partially covered by hoods beat the doll with sticks and rods, while the crowd shouted in approval, calling for the death of the traitor. Away from the crowd, hidden behind a stone wall, 3 children observed the scene with a mixture of fear and fascination. Sofía, 12 years old, with curious and determined eyes. Lucas, the same age, nervous and hesitant. And Clara, the mayor's daughter, with her intelligent and questioning gaze. Lucas expressed his fear, saying they shouldn't be there and that his father would be furious if he found them. Sofía merely rolled her eyes, commenting that Lucas was afraid of everything. It was then that Sofía noticed something strange. While most adults watched the burning doll, some discreetly moved away from the crowd, heading toward the church on the other side of the square. Among them, Sofía recognized the silhouette of Sister Cecilia and, to her surprise, Clara's father, the mayor of the town. Sofía decided they should follow those people. The 3 children crept through the square until they reached the back of the church. They hid behind bushes, watching the small group enter through a side door, an entrance that most of the faithful didn't even know existed. Lucas recognized Clara's father among the adults. Sofía signaled for them to remain silent and approached the door. After checking that no one was watching them, the children sneaked into the church. The corridor was dark, illuminated only by a faint glow of candles. In the distance, Latin chants could be heard. Sofía led the way until they reached a half-open door. Through the crack, they saw stairs descending to what appeared to be a crypt. Lucas begged to leave, but Sofía silenced him. She pushed the door slightly, which creaked. Instantly, the chant stopped. A male voice echoed from the crypt, alerting about someone's presence. The sound of hurried footsteps climbing the stairs made the children's blood freeze. Sofía shouted for them to run. The 3 children dashed down the corridor. In the desperation of the escape, Clara tripped and fell. Sofía stopped and turned back to help her, but Lucas grabbed her arm, pulling her and insisting they had to go. Sofía hesitated, torn between helping her friend and saving her own life. She made a decision that would haunt her for the next 15 years. She ran with Lucas, abandoning Clara. Clara's terrifying scream echoed through the empty church, pursuing Sofía and Lucas as they fled into the night. 15 years later, Sofía Méndez was driving along a winding road, approaching the town she had left behind. On the passenger seat, a folder with newspaper clippings and notes on Brazilian religious traditions. Her official excuse to return to Santa Cruz. Her phone rang. The name editor appeared on the screen. Sofía answered, informing him she was almost there. Ricardo, her editor, asked how she felt about returning home after so long. Sofía coldly replied that the place hadn't been her home for a long time. It was just an assignment. Ricardo reminded her that she was the one who insisted on covering this story personally. Sofía interrupted him, assuring that she would deliver the article on time and that on Monday he would have a complete special on Holy Week traditions in rural Brazil. Sofía hung up and took a deep breath. She passed a sign, "Welcome to Santa Cruz, land of faith and tradition." The central square was decorated for Holy Week. A man with a rustic appearance was working on the structure where the Judas doll would be hung. Sofía vaguely recognized him, Miguel Santos, the craftsman responsible for making the Judas doll. As she got out of the car, Sofía was approached by an elderly woman of fragile appearance, but with penetrating eyes. The old woman called her by name, saying that blood always returns to its source. Surprised at being recognized, Sofía asked if the lady knew her. Dona Concepcion, as she introduced herself, replied that she knew all the children of that land, especially those who tried to flee from it. Before Sofía could respond, a male voice called her name. She turned and found Lucas Almeida, now wearing the sheriff's uniform. There was uncertainty in his voice as he recognized her. Sofía greeted him formally, calling him sheriff and maintaining emotional distance. Lucas commented that the rumors about the famous journalist's return were true. Sofía clarified that she was there only for work, doing a report on Holy Week traditions. Dona Concepcion enigmatically commented that Sofía had arrived at the right time, as the cycle was completing itself. Sofía noticed how Lucas became visibly uncomfortable with that comment. Lucas tried to disguise it, saying that Dona Concepcion always spoke in riddles, and asked where Sofía would be staying. When she mentioned the inn near the church, Lucas offered help in case she needed anything, but Sofía politely declined, stating that she knew how to manage on her own. At the inn, the receptionist looked at Sofía with curiosity, recognizing her as Teresa's daughter who left after the accident with the Menezes girl. The receptionist commented on the coincidence of Sofía returning just when the mayor had disappeared. Surprised, Sofía asked about this, and the receptionist explained that Rodrigo Menezes, the current mayor and Clara's brother, had not been seen since the previous day. After his father's death, Rodrigo had taken over the family's politics and was in his third term. In her room, Sofía set up an investigative mural with newspaper clippings, including a headline about a tragic accident during religious celebration. Accompanied by a photo of Clara Menezes, her phone rang. It was Lucas, who had gotten her number using sheriff privileges. He mentioned that he already knew Sofía was aware of the mayor's disappearance, commenting that news traveled fast in town. Lucas suggested they talk about the past, but Sofía refused, saying she hadn't come for that. Lucas insisted there were things she needed to know about what happened that night. Sofía replied that 15 years was too long for late revelations, and hung up. Looking back at the mural, Sofía wrote in large letters, "Why now?" Night had already fallen when Sofía decided to visit the church. She needed to face her demons. Father Antonio recognized her immediately, commenting that she had grown. Sofía replied that 15 years was a long time and many things changed. She was direct in asking about the Judas burning, if it was still practiced as before. The priest, visibly uncomfortable, replied that they had made some adaptations. When Sofía asked about the Easter Vigil and if they still descended to the crypt, the priest tensed, informing that the crypt had been closed for years for safety reasons. Sister Cecilia approached silently, interrupting the conversation. She warned Sofía that some doors should remain closed for the good of all. Sofía challenged, asking if she was referring to the doors of the crypt. The nun replied that they were the doors of the past and that Sofía should not have returned. Sofía declared that she hadn't come seeking absolution, but the truth. The nun warned her to be careful with what she sought, as not all truth brought peace. Later, Sofía followed mysterious lights to the church. Hidden in a confessional, she heard Sister Cecilia and Miguel talking. The nun asked if everything was ready for the next day, and Miguel confirmed that the doll was ready and that no one would notice the difference until it was too late. The nun emphasized that the cycle could not be broken, not after so many sacrifices. As she left her hiding place, Sofía encountered Dona Concepcion, who startled her by saying that some doors should not be opened twice. Sofía asked what was happening there and what they were planning. Dona Concepcion explained that it was the same thing that happened every 15 years, a sacrifice for prosperity, a Judas to pay for everyone's sins. Sofía asked if Clara had been a sacrifice. The old woman enigmatically replied that some were chosen, others offered themselves, and some simply were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Sofía declared that she would expose all of this and tell Lucas, but Dona Concepcion questioned who she thought protected the town's secrets. The insinuation that Lucas might be involved shocked Sofía. The old woman advised Sofía to leave while she could, before the cycle chose her to. The next morning, Sofía received an anonymous call instructing her to find Clara's diary in the old Meneses house in her room. Meanwhile, in the central square, panic was spreading. The cloth covering the Judas doll had fallen, revealing not a doll, but the body of Mayor Rodrigo Meneses. Lucas arrived with police officers and saw Sofía taking photographs. He demanded that she stop, but Sofía argued that people had the right to know what was happening in the town. Lucas warned her that she didn't understand what she was getting into, that this was bigger than both of them. Sofía took advantage of the confusion to go to the old Meneses house. She found Clara's diary hidden in the base of the bed. The pages revealed that Clara had discovered something about a secret ritual and a cycle of sacrifices. The last entry was dated the day she died, where Clara wrote that she would follow her father during the Judas burning, and that Sofía and Lucas would go with her to discover the truth together. Suddenly, the bedroom door opened. A woman entered, identifying herself as Helena Roca, the person who had called Sofía. Helena explained that she was a forensic doctor and had been called to examine the mayor's body. She discovered that the body had ritual marks, the same found in ancient records of other deaths, all in 15-year cycles. Before they could leave, Lucas appeared with his gun drawn, ordering them not to move. To Sofía's surprise, he immediately put the gun away, alerting that they didn't have much time because they were coming. Lucas explained that he was not part of the cult, never had been. He had been investigating the group for years, since Clara's death. When Sofía questioned why she should believe him, Lucas showed a USB drive containing recordings of the meetings in the crypt, including the one from the previous night. The three fled through the window and went to the sheriff's office, where Lucas showed evidence he had collected over the years. Sofía was shocked to see in the recordings that Sister Cecilia was the leader of the cult. Lucas explained that the next sacrifice would happen that night, during the Easter Vigil, and that Sofía was probably the target. The phone rang. Lucas answered and received the news that Miguel had been found dead in the church. At the church, Father Antonio seemed genuinely disturbed by the deaths of the mayor and Miguel. Sofía confronted him, asking if this was coincidence or part of the cycle. The priest denied knowing what she was talking about. Lucas mentioned that they knew about the crypt and the rituals. The priest, nervous, said they couldn't talk there because they were watching. When Sofía asked if he was referring to Sister Cecilia, the priest seemed surprised. Sister Cecilia approached, expressing false sadness for the deaths and inviting everyone to the Easter Vigil, which would be a special ceremony. Sofía declared that she wouldn't miss it for anything. Later, in the sacristy, the priest confessed that he had been manipulated for years. He explained that it all began with the old mayor, Rodrigo's father, who founded the cult based on an ancient local legend. After his death, others took control, with Sister Cecilia as the true force behind everything. Using faith as a mask for power. The priest explained that the sacrifices occurred every 15 years, always targeting someone who threatened to expose the truth. Clara had discovered her father participating in the rituals, and when the three children were seen in the church that night, she was chosen as an example. The priest confirmed that Sofía was the target of the next sacrifice, scheduled for that night. When Lucas asked how they could stop them, the priest handed over a key to the crypt, explaining that there they would find the ritual book, without which the cycle could not be completed. In the crypt, Sofía found a list of names with dates, including Clara Meneses, Rodrigo Meneses, Miguel Santos, and her own name for that night. Suddenly, the crypt door closed. Sister Cecilia and Dona Concepcion entered, with the nun announcing that she knew they were there and that there was no way to escape. She declared that the cycle needed to be completed to ensure the prosperity of Santa Cruz. Hooded men emerged from the shadows, surrounding them. Lucas was attacked. Sofía tried to flee with the book, but was blocked by Dona Concepcion. Sofía accused the group of having killed Clara and her brother. Dona Concepcion replied that Clara's death was an accident, that it wasn't supposed to be her. Sofía realized the implication. She was the one who should have died that night. Sister Celia confirmed, saying that the cycle chose its sacrifices and that Clara had interfered with Sofía's destiny. Now Sofía would complete what began 15 years earlier. In a quick movement, Sofía tore pages from the book and threw them into the fire, provoking the nuns' horror. In the midst of the chaos, Father Antonio appeared with police officers, declaring that it was all over. Sister Cecilia laughed, asking if they really believed they understood what was happening there. She asked Dona Concepcion to tell the truth she had hidden for so long. Dona Concepcion revealed that the cycle was older than all of them, older than the church and the town. She told Sofía that she had always been the key to breaking the cycle. The old woman asked why Sofía thought her family had always lived in that town and why her grandmother secretly sought out Dona Concepcion. Sofía was shocked by the revelation. Dona Concepcion explained that Sofía's grandmother knew and tried to protect her, keep her away, but the cycle brought her back. Sister Cecilia, irritated, interrupted, saying that the ritual had to be completed. She drew a dagger and advanced toward Sofía. Dona Concepcion placed herself between them, declaring, "Not this time." The nun pushed the old woman aside and advanced again. A shot echoed in the crypt. Lucas had shot the nun. Sofía asked Dona Concepcion why she had protected her. The old woman replied that she had promised Sofía's grandmother, and because Sofía was the only one who could truly break the cycle by telling the whole truth. That night, during the Easter Vigil, Father Antonio lit the Paschal candle and addressed the faithful, declaring that that night they were not only celebrating the resurrection of Christ, but also the resurrection of truth in the community. The next morning, Easter Sunday, Sofía and Lucas were walking through the square. Lucas asked how she felt. Sofía replied that it was as if a weight had been removed, not just from her, but from the entire town. When Lucas asked what she would do now, Sofía said she would finish her report, telling the complete story. Lucas asked, "And after that?" To which Sofía responded with a slight smile that perhaps it was time to make peace with the past. The church bells began to ring, announcing Easter Sunday, a day of resurrection, of new beginnings. The cycle had been broken. The truth had finally prevailed.